Hello everyone, my name is Clantis and welcome to the clan. So without further ado, let's get into this video. But before we get into the video, please just smash the like button for me and also subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Anyways, let's get into the video. So at the North Gauteng High Court, the Senzo Meyiwa murder retrial, we had Mosia back on the stand this morning, just as we wanted. And Mosia, you are a liar, sir. You must just know that. And I'm sure as he walked away going home, he walked away with a tail between his tail. And of course, Baloyi. What's up with Baloyi? Hey, I have never seen a person who can stiffen their neck like Advocate Baloyi can, because in Zulu we say, unenkani yesalesele. You know a frog? If you chase a frog out, next minute you see it back in. You chase it out, you just having this little battle, especially the frogs in KZN, if you know what I mean. But anyways, Advocate Baloyi, yeah, I think he had egg on his face today, not once, but twice, or maybe 3 times. Because let me tell you something about Baloyi. But then again, I just want to make a disclaimer. Today it was a very busy day for me. And secondly, we had like load shedding for hours on end. So very much of this testimony I did not hear. However, I did pick it up just now, just after Mshololo was done with Buthelezi. And then I just watched some few clips as to what actually transpired. And I saw that Advocate Steve, was it Advocate Steve? Let's see. Yeah, Advocate Steve, Advocate Nisi, as well as Advocate Mshololo. Or did she did? Like I said, I did not watch the first part of today's hearing, but I did see Advocate Numalo questioning Mosia. Remember, Advocate Numalo was the one originally that asked for the origins of the register. And of course, Mosia at that time, he was already done with his testimony, and then he was sick and tired of being at the North Gauteng High Court. He even did tell the court that his body cannot take it no more, and he's just tired of testifying and all that stuff. But the court then invoked Section 167 and 186 or something like that, where now somebody else would have to come on behalf of Mosia, since he no longer works at Springs Police Station. And this is when we had a police officer that took the stand with the registers, and then he dropped some bombshells about Mosia's whereabouts on the 26th of October 2014 and the 27th of October 2014, where he told the court that after the Senzo Meyiwa crime scene, he went to 2 other crime scenes later in the wee hours of the morning. One was of arson, the other one was of a business breaking. But the registers are telling a totally different story. So Mosia was told to come back and clarify that. And so he came. Now, from what I picked up, because I did not hear again his testimony in full, but what I picked up and what I think is important is the fact that he was telling the court that he had made some mistakes in entering the correct times. For example, the time that he arrived the following day, meaning when he came back from the 2 crime scenes, he says he arrived at 6 in the morning, but the registers are saying he got there at 10 in the morning. And then he says no, when the other investigators came, like, oh, Nakuzan Omshasho, he was already at the crime scene. They found him there. So because he's been working so hard and he's so tired and all those sort of stuff, those excuses, because all I know about this guy, since I have seen him on the stand, he makes a lot of excuses. He never takes accountability for anything. And so he said, I was tired, so when I put 6 a.m., I meant to put 10. That's a big difference. I would understand if he said, I thought I was writing, because I also have that problem. I have a problem with yin yang. That is why I would mix the name of Mshasho and say Mshosha, and yeah, yin yang is a problem for me, especially 6 and 9. And then if you have to write these digits, if you ask me to spell 6, I would say to you SEX. Then I'm like, no, I mean SIX, because the yin yang issue that I have. So I would have understood if he said, I thought I had written 6, but I put 9, or I put 9 instead of 6, but 6 and 10? One has single digits, the other one has 2 digits. Like, how do you make that mistake? I did not understand that. So, of course, he was caught on his lies. So, in essence, the court, whatever he told the court in his evidence in chief, no longer counts. None of it. The photos he was asked about, and I think Advocate Steve at a later stage, they did come with a question of clarity where he said, you took 8 photos and then you said to this court in your evidence in chief that your camera was not working and only 8 pictures that were clear enough for you to put in your photo album. And then he asked him about policy 5. Apparently policy 5 says every picture you take at the crime scene, even the blank one and the one that are also off focus, they must be included in the photo album. Then he says he disagrees with that because he puts photos as per the way he will understand the sequence of the photos, so that when he comes to court, he's able to account for his photos. But all the other ones that he did not choose, he will put them at the back of the photo album and then labels them according to whatever he was trying to explain them. But Steve, put it to him that you are wrong according to the policy. So you cannot overrule the policy or override the policy and come up with your own rules. That is a guideline that is legal. So that on its own, it really did break Baloyi's case. This clearing up questions that Mosia was thrown at, and I think at some point Mosia himself, you could even hear in his voice, like, you know what, the damage is done already. I might as well just go down and admit to some few things, because at some point he ended up admitting to a lot of things. Copy of his pocketbooks, and he said he could not find it. I think they all lied about their pocketbooks. I think their pocketbooks do exist, because Mosia's he was actually disputed by his own pocketbook and all of that stuff. And then he talks about the mixing of times, and that he agrees that he did mix the times, and then he made an excuse about being tired and all of that stuff. Of course, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is Mosia's testimony, everything that he had testified in his evidence in chief, is thrown out the window. Discredited. He lied to the court, period. So, and then I went back to work, and when I went back to work, this is when Mshololo took over from Ngumala and asking questions, but of course I did not hear that cross-examination. The only time I got to hear it was when I was on break myself, and they were going on break. And then when she came back and asked him about 2 photos that were taken at 1 a.m. in the morning. I think I understand why she asked that question, because he did say he left the crime scene and went to 2 other crime scenes that took place in Vosloorus, or in a neighboring township, one for arson and one for business entry, forced entry, and things like that. So that's when she said, you know, thank you, and then she sat down. And then I think the biggest bombshell, or even shells, that were dropped in the court today, apart from Mosia dropping his own bombshells and literally fighting his own entry in the origins of the registers that he did, we did not see it coming from Buthelezi. Buthelezi happens to be a friend of accused number 2, Ntanzi. His name is Msizi Jack Buthelezi. Apparently, Msizi Jack Buthelezi used to be a co-worker of accused number 2, that is Ntanzi, and they lived in Rustenburg at the mines and hostel mines and things like that. Ntanzi lost his job, and so he had no place to stay, so Buthelezi brought him to stay with him and other guys at the hostel in Rustenburg. And then until he got a new job at Impala or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And so now he had to relate a story about a certain day that he and Ntanzi, accused number 2, met in the city, like Rustenburg city, where he basically told him that he's been arrested for 2 charges. The first charge was illegal possession of ammunition, and the second one was about the killing of Senzo Meyiwa and Mpisane, or something of that nature, or Mapisa, sorry, something of around there. And so, of course, you could tell. I am not a psychologist or a body language expert or anything like that, but I have been a liar in my life before. When I'm talking in my life, I'm talking when I was a little boy. Number one, whenever I lied, because I'm known to be a person who speaks loud. You guys already know that I speak quite loud. But when I lie, guess what? Even today, if I lie to you, I would drop my voice. You could almost not hear me speak. Why? Because I am lying. Secondly, I would not look you in the eye. I would look on my left, but down this way. You just know that who is telling a lie, but of course, my voice will drop. You must also understand that Buthelezi is a Zulu man. No Zulu man speaks soft. If a Zulu man speaks soft, that's because he's either Uyashela or he's in the presence of girls. But when there are guys, they talk. That's what we do. But anyways, the point is not that. The point is that you could hear from his voice, understand that he wants to tell the truth, but somehow he's afraid of authorities. Now, there are people who naturally are afraid of any authoritative figure. So, of course, this particular witness, from what I think I picked up from him, is that he is uncomfortable in the presence of police. He's also looks like and sounds like he's also uncomfortable in the presence of a judge and in the courtroom, if you know what I mean. And so when he started out his story, it sounded as though this is what Ntanzi told him. But when he was, okay, let me say how he perceived the story from Ntanzi. Basically, Ntanzi met him in the city, told him that he's been arrested, as I've already said, for ammunition as well as killing of Senzo Meyiwa. Then he cried. Then he took out 500 rand and gave it to him. And then he said, hey, I'm sorry that you've been arrested. And off he went. Apparently, when he now tells the story again, because Advocate, which one was it? Advocate Ngumalo wanted him to retell the story. Was it Advocate Ngumalo? Advocate Ngumalo wanted him to retell the story as to what had happened. And the question was about the distance between him and the police, how far the police were, and how far were they from the police and the pavement. Could the police hear the conversation, what it was about? And he says that Ntanzi was wearing a long sleeve attire, so he could not see any injuries, because we know, or we heard from Ntanzi, that the confession that was abstracted of him was under duress. He was beaten for a few days, etc. and so on. And another thing that shocked me from what Advocate Steve said was that Ntanzi, when he got arrested on the 16th of June, he was not taken to court 48 hours later, according to the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. When you get arrested, there's a 48-hour period that they must charge you and all of that, and then you see the court before the 48-hour expires. But not when Ntanzi. Ntanzi only got to see the court after the 13th of July, when he met with this particular witness, which is Mr. Buthelezi. And now Buthelezi had to retell the story. And then the judge, I don't know why the judge, I feel like sometimes he just needs to keep quiet. I get it that he's intelligent and he's experienced, but sometimes I just think he needs to keep quiet, because when he tried to rescue the witness goes along and said something that the judge was basically shouting at Advocate Ngumalo about, that do not put words in his mouth. He did not say they. They say, he says, I. So now where this comes from is a conversation between Ntanzi and Buthelezi. Ntanzi is saying to Buthelezi, I've been arrested for ammunition, and also I'm arrested for the killing of Senzo Meyiwa at a party. But then Advocate Steve, I think it was Advocate Steve, it wasn't Ngumalo. Advocate Steve says, they. And the judge said, no, let's be fair to the witness. He did not say they, he said I. So, fine. Then Advocate Steve, I've noticed Advocate Steve is quite stubborn. He was like, I'm still going to go along this line of questioning. And so he said, please tell the story again. And so when he started telling the story again, this is when he says, I've been arrested by the police. The police are right there. They can hear this conversation. Because they say, oh, this is when the internet almost broke and said, Judge, next time you need to shut up. Listen to what the witness now is saying. I think this is the point where the witness was starting to get a little bit comfortable to tell the truth. And then this is when he started telling exactly what the conversation was about between him and the accused number 2. He says, they said, I am arrested for ammunition as well as the killing of Senzo Meyiwa at a party in Vosloorus together with Mapisa. That is now what the witness is telling the court. So once again, there we go. Buthelezi with an egg on his face, because he brought a witness that would not lie on the stand. Yes, there was a point where he was going with the script that he was given by the state, but he abandoned it. And I think the reason why he abandoned it is because Advocate Steve said something very important, which was humanity. He said, is there any animosity between you, the witness, and Mr. Ntanzi? And then his answer was, even right now, he is happy to see me. And then, of course, the court giggled. There was laughter about that particular thing. So then the state stood up, of course, and to kind of like clarify some few questions that he was asked by the defense. And then I think at this point, when Baloyi stood up, he had this intimidating tone to him. Like, hey, you seem to have forgotten our conversation. But the witness stuck to his story and said, this is what Ntanzi said. They said, the police said, he is arrested for illegal possession of ammunition as well as the killing of Senzo Meyiwa. And this is when he cried. Then, of course, but Baloyi wanted to know, why did he cry? In my mind, I'm thinking, if I'm accused, falsely accused, mind you, of killing another human being, I see the whole ammunition thing, but of killing of another human being, and I know I did not do it, I'm gonna cry. So, of course, that's why he cried. But anyways, Baloyi realized that he was hitting a brick wall with this witness, so he had to stand him down, and court adjourned until tomorrow, where we are going to be seeing or hearing a new witness. And please expect that call from Baloyi, because at this point in time, Baloyi is just shooting in the dark, and your name might be pulled out, and then you'll find yourself at the North Gauteng High Court testifying as to who killed Senzo Meyiwa. Please tell us the truth when you are called. Anyways, guys, if you like the video, give it a like. If you didn't like the video, give it a like. Anyways, do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. My super thanks are turned on. Thank you all so much for super thanking this channel and also supporting it financially. I highly appreciate it, guys, very, very much. Do leave me a comment down below. Let me know, what did you think about today's court day? I'm sorry I did not see everything. Please do fill me in on some. Of course, some I'm going to watch. Maybe I'm going to create another video for tomorrow morning, where now I will be in the full picture as to what had happened in court. Also, share this video far and wide. Thank you all so much for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.